Hi, Coach. In this whiteboard segment, we're going to talk about the Guilford Basketball League offensive guidelines we'd like you to follow for this season. The first big one, which is a little different than what's been done before in years past, no set plays. So you're not going to run any kind of a set offense where there's a lot of ball screening and having your players run sets. We'll get to why that's important. We're not going to do that. We're going to get to why that is in a second. And also no ball screens. I mentioned that before a little bit. And also if you watched the defensive whiteboard video earlier, we talked about how difficult it is to defend ball screens, where you'd have to take a whole week maybe of consistent practice to show your players how to defend ball screens. It's very, very difficult to do. So to keep everybody on the same page in terms of the entire league at your grade level, and even the grade level above and level below you, we're going to try to get our players to understand concepts and understand spacing and understand things that will really make them become better players, rather than having a team come down who sets a lot of ball screens. If two comes over and sets a ball screen for one right here, one just dribbles the ball to the basket and scores because the defense doesn't know how to stop it. And meanwhile, 4 and 5 and 3 just kind of stand there and let it happen. Now, you're going to score and you might win and things of that nature, and that's fine for what it is. But we're interested in the development of all 5 of these players, and the only way that happens is by having them get a lot of touches, having them get a lot of movement and motion and spacing and understanding conceptual things. That's the idea of the record. So let's start out and talk a little bit about how to run or how to teach motion. And the first thing is, you can have your players really set up in any way that you want. But if you see one here with the ball, if you have 5 players obviously on the floor, one has the ball, you can have 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 in these spots. It really makes no difference. You have 5 players, you can space them out however you want to. But if one, let's say one passes the ball to 2, so now 2 has it, what are the options for 1? Well, your 1 player, you can have them make what we call a basket cut. Just tell 1, or really anybody who makes a pass, just make a cut right to the basket. They might get the ball back and maybe score, because you see here the middle is really cleared out for it very nicely. So if you have 1 make a basket cut, we have 2 now still has the ball. 3 can come up here and replace. That's fine. 5 can break to the ball this way. And now 1 who cut to the basket can cut out the other side. So now 2 has the ball. They can pass to 4 or 5 or 3. It doesn't make any difference. If 5 doesn't get it, they can go down to here. If 3 doesn't get it, he or she can make a basket cut. That's fine too. 4 can cut to the basket and come back out. What we're going to try to get this year in the league is try to get the players who don't have the ball to do is move. Move to the ball. Try to move to get open. Move and stay spaced away from the ball. So what we're trying not to have happen, we're trying to alleviate that. And what that is a cluster around the ball. And I'm sure most of you coaches have seen it with everybody with their hands out saying, here, throw me the ball. Everybody within a 2-foot area of the person with the basketball. Now this is going to take some time to teach because it's a concept. And what you want to tell your players who are better, your better players, is to say, hey, try to get somebody else open. Maybe you can come over here, set a screen for somebody, something like that. Or you two can just trade places. If you don't want to set a screen, that's fine. You don't have to. Maybe 3 can pop back out to here. Maybe 4 and 5. We have 4 cut away from the ball and 5 cuts to the ball. Things like that. Because once you get into motion offense, which is actually very easy to teach, because all you're teaching is motion. Try to cut to the basket, cut to the ball, get somebody else open, move without the ball, be in continuous motion, never stop. What you don't want to have is this. I will say this. If 5 is over here and 3 is out here, don't have your players come into the backcourt or all the way back here away from the basket to try to catch the ball. If 2 has it over here, try to have them be a little more creative and say, okay, well, if you're going to cut here, we're trying to score. This is the basket right here. We're trying to go that way. So if you see yourself cutting out here, just cut right back here. You might get it. Remember, the defenses aren't that sophisticated, obviously, to stop things like this. They're certainly not going to stop ball screens. They're certainly not going to stop down screens or screens really of any kind. So why set them? Don't even worry about setting. Just keep moving. Keep everybody in motion. Now, it's going to put a lot of pressure on 2. You might say, well, I have a player who, if you throw it to them, they can't do anything with it. This is what helps them learn how to play. They're not going to remember a set play for sure anyway, but they might be able to use a couple dribbles to alleviate the pressure from the defense, and then maybe make a pass, and then they cut to the basket. So you have all these different scenarios where people are cutting and moving. We want to try to have everybody share the ball, have everybody understand what spacing is, and have everybody understand that, hey, we're not just going to throw it to the best player and have him go off a screen and score, and the rest of us are going to stand around. And we're certainly not going to work on this in practice where it's going to be a half hour of, okay, we're going to work on fists today. You 3 stand over there in that corner, and 1 and 2 run your little ball screen play out here. You run a handoff and just dribble to the basket. We really want to try to get away from running plays that don't involve all 5 people, and even the ones that do, they're not going to remember it anyway. They will remember concepts. They will remember spacing if you emphasize it, and if you come with the attitude in practice of, hey, this is how we're going to do it, we're going to get better at it, and you'll see by the season's end, offensively, your players are going to be pretty good.